Hello everyone, Greg O'Rourke from FretDojo.com, the place to learn jazz guitar. In this session today, we're going to be covering a very cool altered scale jazz guitar lick so that you can really spice up your solos. This stuff can be pretty spicy, but it's a really powerful way to touch into some outside playing in your improvisations, and there's also a really cool melodic pattern in this one as well. So grab your guitar and let's check out this altered scale lick called Scale Switch. So I like giving my lines names actually because they kind of it helps stick in my head. You know, oh, what was that line that I was thinking of? So this one I've given it a name Scale Switch, and you see that this one's over an altered chord. So what I'm going to do first, I'm going to give this a go by just playing this line for you over just a G7 chord, so you can hear what this line sounds like. Okay, so I'll go to a close up here. And we'll get the backing track started, and let's see what this sounds like. Once again. One more time. Very cool, that line. Let's play it a little bit slowly so you can get the hang of it under your fingers. Interesting sound, isn't it? So this one is based on the altered scale, and you can probably hear already that there's an interesting little pattern that's being used over this line. So if we look at it on the guitar, I'll just pull my main shot up so you can see a bit better. See if you can spot the pattern that's going on here. So we've got, and then, so this is basically just playing through an altered scale. Like that, but it's just got a melodic pattern on top of it, where it's going 3 notes down, and then going back to where you started. So hear that again. And then you go down 2 notes and do the same thing. And then down 2 notes. I'll show you on the notation again so you can see. I'll just pull that back down. Let's go from the start again so you can see the music. I might zoom in a bit so you can see that a bit better. Hang on. There we go. All right, so we got. Okay, so, you know, this could be potentially a very short live session because as you can hear, it's basically just an altered line with a melodic pattern. Now, this melodic pattern though is very useful because what it does is it targets the chord tones automatically because watch this, we've got this note here it's not really a flat 3 over that, so we've got a G7. That's more like a sharp 9. So that one there's a sharp 9, so it starts on this very cool tone on a G7 chord, and then we've got a flat 9 there, and then we've got the root there, and then the sharp 9 again is here. Okay, so you see on the strong beats we've got sharp 9, 1. And then on the strong beat here, we've got 1 again, flat 7, then we've got flat 13. So it's a really crunchy kind of sound here. And then, so we've got a nice mix of some good chord tones being targeted on the downbeats. But what I like is this cross rhythm that's created because you can see we're in a 4 feel, you know, like even 8s, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. But the first note comes back on an offbeat there, so it's like a cross rhythm. We've got a three notes before the next one, and then do, and then we've got this one again here, a cross rhythm there. Okay, so you get this really cool cross rhythm sound when you play a melodic pattern like this. If I just play a scale over that backing track, let's see what the difference is there. So if I go just a simple scale. You see, it sounds a little bit kind of like nothing, but as soon as you put a cool pattern, got this cool rhythmic kick to it like this. You get those automatic kind of bop sounds, which is like this automatic kind of cross rhythm effect by putting it becomes a rhythmic pattern. That sort of thing. All right, cool. You get the idea. So let's talk about for a moment what an altered scale is, okay? Because you're probably wondering, like, this sounds cool. It sounds pretty out there. But what is an actual altered scale? Well, let's have a look at that now. What an altered scale is, it's actually based on the melodic minor scale, okay? But it's not the melodic minor scale of the actual chord that I was playing then. It's actually a different one. So if we're playing over a G7 chord, we actually have, I can play these notes over it to make an altered sound. So we've got A flat, B flat, yeah, we got C flat there. And we've got D flat. Lots of flat notes, isn't it? Look at that. Then we've got E flat, F, and G. Okay? So I might zoom in a bit so you can see that better. Here we go. It's easier to work with as well. Okay, so let's just draw the stems on it so it looks more like musical notes. Okay, so these are the notes of G altered, but I started this on the A flat deliberately because these notes are actually A flat melodic minor. Okay, so you can play these, if I just start from the A flat here, check this out. And it's missing the last A flat there. Listen to that again. See, it sounds completely different. Now, here's the thing. The altered scale is a mode of melodic minor. Okay, so you can have the melodic minor scale, but if I start it instead, if I just, let's say, put the note that comes before A flat, just before it on the stave here, we've got G. Now, if I play from G here all the way to G up here, we'll have the altered sound. None of the notes have changed, it's just I've changed the starting note. How cool does that sound? So it has that really dark kind of Phrygian mode sound to it because of the flat 9 at the start, but then it gets really cool. All right, so that's basically what the altered scale is the melodic minor scale played from the 7th degree. So it's just like your other modes that you might be familiar with, like, you know, how Dorian is a major scale played from the 2nd note in the scale. This is a melodic minor scale played from the 7th degree of the scale to make a mode. Okay, so let's go back to our lick now. And so that's what's really going on. It's a lot simpler than what you might think. If we look here, we've got this cool melodic pattern that creates that nice rhythm and a bit of melodic interest and stuff like that. But also, it's simply playing the notes out of A flat melodic minor. So if you know your melodic minor scale pattern, this is easy. So the rule can think of something like this. If you see a dominant chord, you can just think, okay, I play A flat melodic minor scale. I play a melodic minor scale 1 half note up from the root. Okay, so G's here. get that altered sound. So that's an easy trick. So it's not like you have to even remember another scale technically. You can just think of this as a skillful way of seeing one chord, G, and then playing A flat melodic minor over the top. Okay, so this is what this lick is really interesting actually. Like, so why don't, before we go further on this, let's just, with that in mind, let's have a listen to what like this lick sounds like, and then I'll just start playing a bit of A flat melodic minor over the scale as well, just over the lines as well, just to give you an idea of what it sounds like. You sort of get the idea there. Okay, I played a few funky notes in there, but you kind of get the idea of that sort of A flat melodic minor sound played over G. All right, so that's kind of cool and everything, but how do we actually apply this? How do we kind of turn this into a thing that is actually useful? Because it's not often in jazz where you'll see this just like a G7 altered chord played forever. You know what I mean? So how can we use this line effectively? And I should mention, as you can see on the screen here, that if you want access to this line, as well as hundreds of other lines that you can print out and work on, it's part of what we call the Lictionary, a huge jazz line dictionary, and you can get that by going to FretDojo.com /gift. So FretDojo.com /gift, and you can get a bunch of free courses and also this jazz line dictionary. Very, very cool. Okay, so let's now have a look at how this we can think about using this line in a more effective way. So at the moment, it's just written as a G7 altered kind of chord underneath there. But what if we change that? Like, check this out. Like, let's try this. Let's turn it into a 2-5-1 line, but over a minor progression. So a minor 2-5-1. So I'm going to do D minor 7 flat 5. And then we'll put the G7 here. And then I'll put the C minor 7 over there. Okay. So I'm just going to fool around with my backing track for a moment. And I'm going to just put those chords into my player here. One sec. So we can hear what that sounds like. So now this is a minor 2-5-1 chord. Not a minor 2-5-1 progression. All right, so let's see what this sounds like now when I play this line over these chords instead. How cool's that? All right, so that's an example of how you can take a piece of, so this was basically a piece of dominant chord vocabulary, right? Now we can turn this into a minor 2-5-1 line, because here's the thing about 2-5-1 lines is when you have a 5 chord, a lot of the time it still sounds good over the 2 chord in a 2-5-1 progression. They're actually interchangeable kind of sounds. They're very, very similar, especially in a minor 2-5-1 context. And so when we get to the 1 chord, sometimes that doesn't work so well. But this chord is this line in particular is kind of rounded out all its weird tones by then, and so it still kind of works over the 1 chord even, because we're kind of only got that little A flat note there, but everything else is pretty tonal. Okay, so instantly, hey presto, we have a minor 2-5-1 line that we can use simply by combining this cool melodic pattern where the 3 notes going down and then going down to the next note, 3 notes down, etc. So that melodic pattern combined with the altered scale. Now let's see what this sounds like over a song. Okay, so let's pull out, like I chose the Latin vibe for a reason, because I thought Blue Bossa is a good one to demonstrate this. So let's get out the Blue Bossa backing track now. And let's play that together. So you can, if you know Blue Bossa, you can comp along while you listen to me play this, especially if you're watching the replay. And I'm just going to play these lines over the minor 2-5-1 of Blue Bossa. Okay, so let's give that a go now. Let's see what that sounds like. How cool is that? That was a major 2-5-1, but listen again. So it's a nice cheat for Blue Bossa, right? Okay, so that's one way you can use a line, is by lick insertion. Okay, it's like lick injection. You just got this lick and you pop it in whenever you see the relevant progression. So in this case, I was hearing the 2-5-1s in Blue Bossa, and then I was playing that line when I got to those 2-5-1s. Now, what we can do this time is we can actually extend this idea of this lick, because remember, we've got this melodic pattern. So 3 notes down, start again, 3 notes down, start again. You can apply that melodic pattern to any scale pattern you like. So we could go, let's say a C minor scale. See, that was just C minor. Or Blue Bossa in the B section, it has a D flat major scale. See, these melodic patterns are so useful. They sound so much more interesting. So you're still playing a scale, but you're just putting some bop in it by putting a cool pattern in there. Now, John Coltrane used to practice hundreds and hundreds of these patterns. That's why his vocabulary is so vast, because he consciously practiced all these melodic sequences and patterns. And so this is a very useful one. This is one of those ones that I lean on a lot in my own playing. So now let's try this again, just so you can see my hands. Okay, so what we're going to do now, I'm going to play this to you again, but this time, and by the way, guys, if you do enjoy this video and you want me to do more of these live sessions for you guys and get into some cool jazz on the guitar, make sure that you like and subscribe this video. It would mean a lot to us. And make sure you subscribe to the channel. That way you won't miss out on any future videos that come up. Okay, and also, guys, feel free to leave a comment as we're going if you've got any questions. I'm happy to stick around to answer a few more questions towards the end of today's session if you have any questions or comments on today's show. But now let's play Blue Bossa again, but I'm going to try to put that melodic pattern that was in that line, but not stick with the lick necessarily, just using that melodic pattern as an idea through the various scales that would fit. So let's see what happens. Okay, cool. So that's a bit of a, I was kind of just mucking around then. But you can hear the power of these melodic patterns. That was a very simple solo. I wasn't doing anything that complex. I was basically just trying to recall what scale went over which bit, but featuring those melodic patterns in the solo. And it's a lot of fun because you need something to hang off, especially when you're getting started with soloing. Obviously there's a lot of material you could learn in jazz, but sometimes just these little nuggets are the things that you need to kind of start to break open the doorway to your creativity. There's a real irony here because sometimes the most creative players in jazz stick with the most simple ideas or constantly work with the same ideas. Okay, so you don't need to learn the entire jazz dictionary in order to be a great jazz player. You just need to learn the core little concepts. And this melodic pattern concept is really, really important. The altered scale is cool, but I think the big one out of today's line was that melodic pattern. So if you did want to get access to a printable version of this lick, what you can do here is sign up to the Fret Dojo Jazz Guitar Collective. You can do that by going to FretDojo.com/gift. I know many of our viewers have already joined up to that, but in case you haven't yet, make sure you do that, as it's a fantastic opportunity to get access to a printable version of this line that we went through today. I'll also post the replay of this video once it's kind of edited together, and we'll put that above the lick as well, so you have a reference of what we covered in today's session. And there's also like literally hundreds of other lines that you can get stuck onto the site, and there's a really cool community of players as well. So I think without further ado, we might wrap this up today. So thanks for joining me today for today's live session. Once again, make sure you smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you'd like us to do more content like this. It was really cool having some people on the call. Thanks everyone for coming along today, and we'll see you in the next episode of Fret Dojo. Bye for now. And for more jazz guitar lessons, tips, and free stuff, visit www.FretDojo.com.